Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chillin' and Buildin' with Spanj. Just kidding. Lucifer Kane here. I'm not quite sure how to classify this episode. Is it a showcase? Is it a tour? Is it a story? I'm really not sure. So I'm just gonna call it Tanks and Pranks. So, story part. A while ago, Spanj and I had a duel between my Retribution and his Crusader. Now, this was in late Alpha 7, experimental early Alpha 8, and they had they'd made a lot of changes to how hover vehicles behave. So after the duel, Spanj wanted a rematch after he had had a chance to modify his tank and upgrade it for all the changes. I had to do the same thing because one of the strengths of the Retribution was its ability to very rapidly climb vertically, and it was able to just basically fly straight up over walls and into bases. And after they did the changes, it couldn't do it anymore. So I made a couple modifications, and let's see if I can get up here. Now this tank was originally designed for the Wolf server, and they had very specific rules. So thrusters like that had to be exposed. They had to have some kind of exposure to air. So that's why it has a lot of open areas like this where the thrusters are just exposed like that. I decided to keep it that way because, well, the tank works. So let's get in here and I'll show you the results of the modifications. And I will show you what I mean. So you can see this mountainside here. And it's pretty much able to climb up straight up. And that probably wasn't all that impressive, but a lot of hover tanks have problems climbing like that. I should have probably built a wall to to show it off a little bit better. That probably wasn't the best example, but yeah, it'll get you where you need to go. So this brings us to the second part of our story. Since he was rebuilding his tank and I had already worked on mine, I decided to play a little joke. Since he had no idea what the Retribution 2 would actually look like, I decided to build, like I said, as a joke, I decided to build somewhat of a monstrosity. Which we have over here. What I was going to do is when the time came, I was going to spawn in this beast and call it the Retribution 2. And and basically surprise him with this monster tank. And there are several. I do have a tendency, as Spanj says, I tend to take jokes and pranks a bit too far, And as you can see by the work I've put into this, he's not exaggerating. Wait until you see what I have planned for, you know, photobombing one of his streams with a joke. I wanted to make this kind of like a mobile base, long-term exploration vehicle. So the bottom level, I kind of wanted it to be a bit grungy, a bit dirty looking. Like maybe the people that are on it just gave up trying to keep it clean and, you know, just basically kept up maintenance, but didn't really care for the aesthetics parts of it. And so I tried to make everything kind of just run down looking and kind of ramshackle. And then as you go up to the upper levels, it would start to get cleaner and more uniform looking, more aesthetically pleasing. Here we have the medic room. There we go. Here we have a little lounge area. And then if we come back here, we go up to the bridge area. Now I made sure I have doors like this in case something becomes depressurized and you're on a hostile environment planet. You'll still have areas with oxygen. And here you have the bridge. And I have tried to make it look bigger than it actually is. And I have areas sometimes back in my old builds, I used to always make sure that I had hidden stuff inside so that if you took damage, it would look like they were actually getting to something important because there was actually detail work just inside. And I did a little bit of that here. Let's quickly go into God mode. And you will see here I actually did like full rooms that no one actually, unless you're in God mode or you actually tear through the vehicle, you'll never see any of this. I have piping in here, and I even have some LCD screens here. So, but yeah, I mean, I have little areas here that look like they would house people, but actually you can't actually fit in here. God mode can be very deceiving. I built a lot of rooms, I built a lot of this in God mode thinking I'd be able to just walk through here and it'd be no problem. But then when I actually tried to walk through, I realized that, yeah, I had to tear out a lot and make it bigger. But this does, surprisingly for a joke vehicle, it actually performs pretty well. So, I mean, it's not supposed to be, you know, a quick or a nimble vehicle. It's just supposed to be a very, very heavy, massive monstrosity of a tank. And it does not meet any kind of vanilla server rules. I'm still of the habit of building things according to the Wolf server rules, so if this was ever going to be used, it would have to be modified. But anyway, like I said, this was designed as a joke, and now I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with it. But yeah, you can see I'm still not quite done detailing. I need to dirty it up a little bit more down here so it looks like people have been coming in and out and tracking mud on the floors, stuff like that. So anyway, there you have it. My showcase slash tour slash story. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.